Hello and welcome to Your Dad Playing. This is Infernal, and today your dad is playing with tools and toys and all sorts of good stuff. So I was told this is content that would be interesting. I'm hoping you find it. So we're going to start with talking about my Proton Pack modifications. I've got the, well, there you go. I've got the Spirit Halloween full-size pack. I'm hoping you all can hear me and not hear me twice. All right, should be good. You know what this needs? This needs some music. Don't mind the big old butt in the way over here. All right, let's see. Let's get Streamlabs desktop over. Hey, what's up, King Day Walker? How you doing, man? I'm hoping that that you can hear everything okay. That's a donkey. Talk about my ass. You're a donkey. Shut up. Let's get some music going here. Yikes. It's too loud. And that is not going through the desktop audio. Oh, you know what? Get the super glue. That's right, Divic. Like that. There you go. Now you should be able to hear it. All right, y'all should be enjoying some sweet tunes while I ramble. And that shouldn't be too loud, I hope. Keep it out there. That one's for Divic. All right. Yeah, so I'm just talking about my Proton Pack here real quick. So I've got the full-size Spirit Halloween pack, and it came with this janky-ass hose to connect the wand to the pack. I mean, this thing is like super stiff. If I move it over here, you can probably see a little bit better how like unforgiving that is. It doesn't even follow gravity. It's just like straight out like that, which sucks. And it was like this big hot glue mess attached to the cyclotron. So I took that off and I replaced it with garden hose. This is that expandable kind of garden hose, and it actually works pretty flippin' well. It's got a lot of give and a lot of play to it, so no matter how the wand is oriented, I've got plenty of movement, plenty of freedom of movement with it. Yeah, and this, the V-hook, that's the piece that popped off and had to super glue back together. When I did the hose, though, there's like a little clamp here that's part of the pack, or that's part of the wand. Just undo that screw, and then you can take the old tubing off completely. There are some wires that run from the wand all the way to the pack. And so I had to, all right, let me go get the hose and I'll explain. One second, I'll grab the hose. Right, so this hose, this was the only one Walmart had in stock, and it was like 30 bucks for 100 feet. And the problem with the hose is that there is a tube on the inside. So unless you're holding on to that tube, then when the fabric expands, you just lost the only stiff the only stiff thing that's in the whole length of the hose. And yeah, here we go, right here. So this is the actual, if you ever wondered what's inside of an expandable water hose, it's a hose. But it is super, super narrow. And there are about 4 wires that run from the wand to the pack. And feeding 4 wires as a group through here, the length of this entire hose from the wand all the way to the pack took about 2 hours. And if I had known it was going to take that friggin' long, I probably would have just cut it and then resoldered it on the other end instead of trying to feed it through. It was a huge pain in the ass, but I did get it done, and I didn't have to do any soldering, so that was appreciated. But if you're going to do this kind of a modification, a couple of tips I would give you is make sure to put like a clamp, like a spring clamp or something on the end here. That way, if you let go, the hose, the fabric part of the sheathing doesn't go over the end of the tube, and then you have to fiddle with you got to fiddle with coiling up the fabric and bunching it up and then trying to get the tube through to where you can grab onto it. So keep a clamp on the end of it. I would also say get yourself some dry lubricant, the WD-40 dry lubricant. It's like a PTFE Teflon type material. Spray some down the length on the inside so that it's easier to push the wires through. Or if you're going to do like your own light kit or something, have that in your mind before you try replacing this, because this was a huge pain in the ass. I didn't replace any of this tubing here. I didn't replace any of the wiring on the external side. There was a huge amount of hot glue on the inside, and I did replace a good chunk of that. The other thing I did was I added an Alice frame. So with this Alice frame, I get better straps. I get a way to actually hold onto it and carry it around. This was one of those Rothco Alice frames off of Amazon for like, I don't know, maybe 40 bucks. Oh, let me go grab another thing real quick. Yeah, so these are the original straps that come with the pack. They're very chunky, and I don't know if you can tell from the stitching here, that I wouldn't trust that to hold up over time. You got like a single stitch. This is just I don't know, it feels like inferior quality foam, and they're all bunched up in certain spots. Like this was not this was not something you would want on like a movie realistic looking pack. So I wouldn't trust these kinds of straps that came with the Spirit Halloween pack. Additionally, so I replaced the straps, I replaced the hose. Additionally, this is the backing, the motherboard. There's sawdust all over it right now. But this is the motherboard. Divik with the bits, dude. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you very much, Divik. No, this is not the pack I'm giving away on my birthday. This is my pack. The one I'm giving away on the birthday is the first Spirit Halloween pack that they came out with, the 80% scale one. This is the 100% scale pack that I modified. But this is the motherboard that was on here originally. So this is what was on the back, and then those cheap ass straps were attached here. And this is just like barely quarter-inch hardboard. I wouldn't even call this MDF. I don't know how well you can see on spots like right here. This is just paper. It's just paper that's been glued in layers. So this is technically what you would call hardboard. It's just super thick, sturdy cardboard. It's got a lot of flex to it. This is not something you would want for cosplay walking around a convention for any extended amount of time. This, the only thing I used this for was to trace it out on 1/2-inch plywood, and that's what's in here now. So this foam was on top of this, and I peeled, Grandpa actually came over and helped me do this. We peeled the foam off, peeled all the hot glue off, undid all the screw anchor points, and took this thing out and then just tossed it to the side in order to trace it out on some actual plywood. So that's what's in here now. Because that is barely 1/4-inch cardboard and I replaced it with 1/2-inch plywood, the original screw points no longer work. So I nipped those off with some clippers, and then in order to attach the plywood motherboard to the pack itself, you can see there are a couple of screw holes on this side, and I've also got a couple of screw holes on the other side over there behind the wand. I actually just took some cut-offs of 2x4 and screwed them to the inside, and that's what the motherboard is attached to. So I've got 2 screws here and 2 screws over here, and if I ever have to take the Alice frame off, or if I ever have to take the motherboard out, all I've got to do is undo these 4 screws here. And in fact, that might be worth doing here on camera real quick, because it should be a simple process. Now, I know somebody in the Discord, the Level Up Legends Discord, was saying that they were scared to modify their Proton pack because they didn't want to damage anything. But I'm telling you right now, man, this thing is like, it's 95% plastic, 5% hot glue, and 2% electronics. Let me go get my screw gun real quick, and then I can, well, I don't know if I want to do a screw gun. Yeah, fuck it. I'll just get the screw gun. I'll be right back. It should be quick and easy. Let's get in the wood shop. Oh, excuse me. Here we go. All right, so let's slide that out of the way. All right. We're just going to undo a couple screws. Y'all, if I fuck this up, this better be worth it to you. Hey, what's up, TJ? I'm gonna look out for the stars. So yeah, we're just talking about my Proton pack here, the one that I modified. This is the full-size Spirit Halloween pack. We're talking about the extra durability that I've added to it by replacing some of the pieces. And let's probably hook this back on now that we got those screws out of the way. There we go. And again, these screws here, they're not part of the normal pack, and I will I will go over them with a black marker or something just to blend them in a little better. Oh no. There we go. All right. So if I did this right, then I should be able to take the motherboard out and the frame. Ah, yeah, there we go. Nice. All right. So this is what you're left with. This is all original. This is the shell. Nothing in here has been changed. So all of this is the modified bits. So these 2x4s arms that are sticking out, those attached to the shell. I mean, the shell is pretty light as it is with like one finger. You know, with one finger you can lift it up. And it's mostly hollow. You know, minus the sawdust. So yeah, so the Alice frame and the 1/2-inch plywood motherboard. So you can tell that is significantly thicker than the original motherboard that came with it. And you can use any kind of plywood. It's got to be 1/2-inch though, just because of the amount of space that you've got inside. I did originally try to use 3/4 inch, but it was too thick because you've got this lip here and then this part. So this from here to the top of here is only 1/2-inch. If you try to use 1/4 inch, then it's going to sit too low. But then you put the fabric backing on and that might make it flush. But 3/4 inch was definitely too thick. And that original motherboard and the original fabric backing was just hot glued in all the way around here. And some of these screw points, like right here, that attached the original cardboard motherboard, those will stand off. If you put the 1/2-inch plywood on top, it'll raise it up too much. So I just went through with some nippers and just clipped those right out. And it doesn't hurt anything. So yeah, so I've got anchor points here and here for the motherboard. And because it's so light, you don't really need more than that. Now, if you were to go and add a whole bunch of extra, you know, gizmos and doohickeys and doodads and stuff to the exterior of the pack, if you were adding more weight to it, then I would probably put some blocking here to attach the motherboard to, and maybe even some down here. But you don't want to put too much stuff down here in the bottom because you need room to work in, you know, more lights and soundboards and stuff. But there's so much room inside this pack. You could do a lot of things in here with additional electronics. You could upgrade the battery because this thing just takes 3 AA's. Hanging out watching Modify Away. So yeah, there's a lot you could do with this thing. It's a pretty blank slate. Really, it's just the lights down here blink, and then the lights right here blink, and that's all it does. It does make the startup sound, so you've got a little speaker right here. A lot of folks are not happy with the bumper because it's a solid piece. It's not. Some people have been taking the Dremel tool and cutting the bumper off. So they just cut like this whole section off, hollow that part out, put a cap over top of here to hide the speaker holes. You know, you can see the speaker holes there now. So some folks have been dremeling the bumper off and putting a 3D printed plate over top to cover the speaker holes and replacing the bumper. I don't care enough. Like, if I really wanted to, I probably would, but honestly, it's fine. It's fine. I don't care enough to do all that nonsense. It's good enough as is. If you want to be like super detailed and hyper realistic and 100% movie accurate, spend more money. You know, this is only $200. You get what you pay for with that. But I've probably put maybe an extra $100 into modifying it, honestly. 30 bucks for the hose, but I could have gotten a cheaper hose. I've spent money on the Alice frame. I spent money on the plywood. Maybe another couple $5 here and there and just glue, reassembling stuff. But for the most part, it's a good pack. I like it. I think it does what I want it to do, and I'm perfectly happy with it. Ooh, important safety tip. I will tell you one thing about this Alice frame, these straps, the buckling piece here is not very sturdy. The straps slide in and out of this thing too easily. So I was getting, I was coming out of the car and I was putting my pack on. I was holding it by the strap alone. As I was trying to put the strap on like this part came undone completely. And the whole thing fell and crashed on the ground. And I had to conduct some emergency repairs. So always make sure you've got some super glue on hand when you're out and about with your Proton pack, honestly. But to fix that, I use these little pins. I've got these little ghost pins. And so those will hold the strap in place. So I can now hold it up like this just fine with the whole pack, and it'll be perfectly safe. So long as that pin doesn't pop off, I'm good. But if you're going to go with a Rothco pack like this, make sure you've got some kind of, extra security around this buckle here, because it's super slippery. I would expect a higher quality buckle replacement. You could pop on there, would have like little teeth on the buckle so that the strap can't slip. But in lieu of that, I've got these little pins and they work just fine. So let's go ahead and pop the frame back in place here. And, oh, yeah, one other thing. When you're attaching your Alice frame to the pack, or when you're attaching your Alice frame to the motherboard, you've got these pre-drilled screw holes here. It is almost impossible to get a screwdriver in that area. A lot of pack builders and on forums and stuff will recommend using bolts. I will probably go back and replace it with bolts. I was in a crunch for time, and so I used just wood screws. And so wood screws work fine. It's 1/2-inch plywood. There's plenty of wood material. There's plenty of meat there for the screws to bite into to hold everything together. And the rest of the pack itself is pretty light, so you can get by with wood screws. They do poke out a little bit depending on the size of screw that you use. So I will eventually go back and replace these wood screws with actual bolts, just to make it more secure. But that's what I did. That's what I did. And it worked out fine. So again, don't be afraid to modify your pack. Even if you break something, you're already in the middle of modifying it. Might as well fix it at the same time. You're totally okay. And if you break something, you learn how to fix it so you can help somebody else fix theirs next time, right? So it's, a circle of life, maybe? I don't know. All right, screw this back together here. There you go. Make sure the wand's out of the way here. The funny thing is, I was just going to play video games tonight, and I was talking to a person, and they were like, "No, man, you've got like all these tools, and you've got all these toys, and you've got all this knowledge, you've got all these tech things that are really cool to show off. So why don't you do a stream like that?" And I was like, I don't know. I guess I could. And they convinced me to do it. I got talked into doing this kind of stream, and the person who told me to do this ain't even here, man. He's like, "Yeah, I'd watch the hell out of that. That sounds awesome." He's not even here. All right. Motherboard resecured.
All right, suck in the guts, guys. We're the Ghostbusters.
This hose out of the way here. The good news, though, is because I bought 100 feet of rows of hose, and I only used like 2 or 3 feet of it, I could use this to modify another 30 Proton packs. So if y'all want to send me your Proton pack, I'll put some hose on it for you, and I'll send it back to you. I'll send it back to you, I promise. Let's toss this over here. Yeah, about the only thing the original motherboard is even going to be useful for is tracing out the shape on some plywood for a new motherboard. So taking this thing off is like one of the first things I did. Hey, what's up, Faye? How you living, honey? All right, let's go put some toys back in the shop. Okay, let's put this away and let's move on to the 3D printing segment of our tonight's episode. There we go. Hooah! I do really like this pack now. Espresso tonight. I'm not sure I understand what that means. See, so like right here on the kidney area, on the under the armpits, these ones have got, oh, depression, that sucks, I'm sorry. These ones have got like a little pull thing that you can do as an emergency release. And then you just pull those back into place. But the top part up here does not have that. It's just, there's no teeth on this one, and this is the one where you would really want the extra support on. And so I use these pins to keep the strap from sliding through and the whole pack just like falling off my back. But you can see the movement of the hose now compared to that stiff piece of junk that comes with it. And depending on how you grab it. Landon said there was a trick to this. I don't believe him. Oh, there we go. I did it. So you got to make sure that when you grab it, you come in under the hose. Otherwise, it's going to be wrapped over your arm like this. So when you grab it off, come under the hose. Oh, let's look at the camera to line that up. Yeah, I don't know. It's impossible. It's never been done before in the history of man. It can't be done. It can't be done. And if Grandpa or Lannon tell you otherwise, they're full of shit. All right, yeah, it's not happening. There we go. There we go. All right. Yep, good stuff. Now I need to figure out a way to display it in the off season, because I'm not wearing this thing every single weekend, you know. I gotta come up with a way to untangle the hose. There we go. Okay, that's perfect. That's a good position. Yeah, I gotta come up with a way to like hang this up on a wall. Oh, yeah, that's right. The other thing I need to add is the pool noodle. So if you look at pictures of the film or if you watch the movie, obviously, but you look at pictures of other people cosplaying, they've got a pool noodle right here, and it's just like duct taped on. That's the other piece that I'm missing to this is the pool noodle, and I'll get that added eventually. Yep. All right, that's all good. Yeah, I want to find a way to hang this up and add a pool noodle. Let me go put this in the closet for now so I don't trip over it. Set this here, and then if you guys want, I can show you the other Proton pack I've got. This is the one that we are doing for the giveaway. You're gonna have me do mine. Well, that's the idea. That's the whole plan. Okay, so this is the 80% scale one. It has the same problem with the hose as the other one does. It's a very stiff hose. The wand is not the same size. It doesn't have the same level of detail. But that's because this one is like 80 bucks and the other one is 200. So again, you're going to get what you pay for. But originally, this was the only one that the Spirit Halloween came out with. This was the only Spirit Halloween Proton pack they had for a couple of years, and then they came out with the 100% scale one just this year. It's still not bad. I mean, it's a great little pack for kids cosplay, and there are thousands of tutorials and videos and write-ups and documentation and 3D printed files for how to modify the 80% one to look more movie accurate. And again, it's got the same problem with the speaker holes on the cyclotron there. I don't have batteries in this one, so I can't show you lighting up, but it does light up, and the cyclotron lights do glow, and the power bar does light up blue. Looks like it's missing the little brass ion rod that comes off of that bar there. But you can just buy a little 3 or 4 inch piece of brass to attach inside of that screw hole and you're fine. I'm sure that's what other people have done. This says, oh, okay, so that's just some copyright stuff, all rights reserved, blah blah blah. But I mean, the stickers look nice. Stickers are accurate enough. It's only got, I'm holding on to this damn thing. There we go. It's got the same problem with the bumper bar as the other size one. It's, you know, solid. It's not spaced off of the cyclotron like it should be, because there's supposed to be a big gap right here. It's only got one tube coming off of here instead of the 2 that you would normally see. But other than that, I mean, it's, you know, it's good enough. People are going to look at it and recognize it as a Proton pack. I got this one for free from Dare Drop for busting 100 ghosts. That was the first Dare Drop campaign I participated in with them. Bust 100 ghosts and get a Proton pack. And then the second one was that cooler. It was haunt 50 rooms and get that cooler there. So that's the Yeti cooler. I haunted 50 rooms and got that. And they have another Dare Drop that I'm doing with Grimpaw this weekend. and it's make a video of going on an adventure with that cooler, and they'll send me another Proton pack for doing that. So I'll have gotten 2 Proton packs from Dare Drop. One of them I'm keeping, one of them I'm giving away. And because my wife wore this one, specifically this one, on Halloween, this is the one I'm keeping, but it is the same kind that I'm going to be doing for the giveaway. So when Dare Drop gives me the form to fill out for the shipping information to receive the other Proton pack, I'm actually just going to give the winner of the birthday event that form. They can fill it out, and then Dare Drop will send them the pack. That'll be how we do it. But this is the Light Up Deluxe. Cover my shipping information there. Deluxe replica quality with light and sound features. It's if you go on the Spirit Halloween website, it's just called Light Up Deluxe. But that's the 80% scale one. That's the one we're doing for the tournament. That's the one that we're doing for the winner of the Infernals Birthday Bash.